Okay, so as a quick review from last week, we're looking for the greatest common factor that comes out of both 2 and 42, and we said that's 2. So what is 2 divided by 2? 1, so do we write 1? We just put x. We only write 1 when there's nothing else there. Plus, what's 42 divided by 2? 21, that's right, and I bring down the y. How come I can't take a variable out? They're not the same variable, so I'm finished with that one. We're going to start trinomial factoring, which is what we saw in the bell arc today. And at first, we won't have a greatest common factor, but later we might. Right, so let's look at number 2. What's the largest number that comes out of 4 and 24? 4. How about a variable? They both have x squared cubed, because cubed is the smallest number. 4 divided by 4 is what? 1. You had 4 x's, you took out 3. Just 1, so just the x. Plus 6. Are there any x's left? No. Try 3 and 4 as a quick review. So, since 6 does not divide into 8, what is the smallest number that will go into both? Okay. What variables do they have in common? Do they both have an A? They both have an A and B? Okay. What's 8 divided by 2? 4. There were 2 A's and I took 1 out. A. There was a B and I took 1 out. None. Minus. What's 6 divided by 2? There was an A and I took 1 out. I just have a B. You're right. Alright. And last, number 4. What'd you guys take out of number 4? Factor out. 4xy. Okay. 20 divided by 4? X squared, I take out an x. Y squared, I take out 1y. Minus. Don't forget, you have to have something there, even if you took it all out. It's still like dividing. You still have something as a placeholder there. Alright, if you were going to summarize this and tell how you always find the greatest common factor, what do you do to find the greatest common factor? You're finding, find the biggest number that does what? That goes into, I'm going to write the math word divide, but I still wrote goes into, that divides, goes into all numbers. What else? How about the variables? Then check which variables they all have in common. Okay. Alright, good. We're going to summarize all these. It's kind of hard to see. I can read it back to you again. So find the biggest number that goes into, which is divides, all numbers. Then check which variables they all have in common, is what that says. It's hard to see. Up there. Alright, now we're going to start our new stuff. We're going to do it today and tomorrow. So once you write that, open it to the next section where we can do our new stuff. find out throughout this if you have a staple problem, you can just go grab the staple. Alright, so turn to trinomial factoring. That's what we're actually doing today. That first part was just a review. Trinomial factoring. Alright, you guys told me, and you're going to pull a couple highlighters out, but you guys already told me I'm going to be using orange and pink. You guys already told me from the bell work how you know what two things, they're called binomials, will go into something based on these two numbers. I'm going to highlight the last one in pink, the middle one in orange. So we're going to refresh how we know what's going on there. Alright, what did you guys say about this last number here? How did we find what number this? We took two numbers and multiplied them. How about this one? Add them, okay? It's called factoring, which is like dividing, because we are looking for two factors of 18 that add to 11, and we're going to make a chart to do that. We want to multiply and get 18. We want to add and get 11. Factors are two numbers that when you multiply them together, you get that number. So what are some factors of 18? Two times what? Somebody said 2 times 9, okay. 2 times 9, is that really 18? Okay. What is 2 plus 9? 11. Is that what I want? And I found the numbers I need. Now, I'm going to stay there. I want you to know later, though, sometimes they'll be harder, and you probably need to start with 1. That's 18, but guess what? They didn't add. That didn't work out. Sometimes you have to start and do all of them. And then you would go to 4, then you go to 5. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why I normally make a chart. Sometimes you don't immediately know which ones it is. Okay? Right, you just kind of guessed. That was the first one you thought about, right? Normally 2, if it's an even number, is the first one everybody thinks about. But we also don't need to forget 1 could be a factor. But this one worked. So this is the one I want to use. That means I'm going to write my answers simply as x plus 2, x plus 9. I have factored. This is what I'm looking for. I'm finished. We will solve them a little later, not today, but tomorrow. Okay, we're going to scoot on over and try number 6. So this is what I'm looking for. When it says factor, that's it. Number 6. 14 and 9. multiply and add. I want to multiply to get what number? 14. I want to add to get just to get in the habit, I'm going to start with 1. 1 times what? 14. Is that 14? What is 1 plus 14? Is that what I want? Let's go to the next one. What do we do next? 2 times what is 14? 7. What is 2 plus 7? Is that what I want? Then I can stop. How do you think we're going to write the answer? That's correct. Number 7. Eight and negative 6. We're going to multiply to get what number? Add to get negative 6. That's kind of a problem now, isn't it? What kind of numbers can you multiply to get a positive answer? You can multiply 2 negatives. Since we are supposed to add to get a negative number, we're probably going to have to multiply 2 negatives. We're going to start with negative 1. Negative 1 times what is positive 8? Negative 8. What is negative 1 plus negative 8? Negative 9. That does not work. Then what do we need to try next? Negative 2 times what? What is negative 2 plus negative 4? Negative 6. It sure does work out with these 2's on this one, doesn't it? Negative 6. That's the one I want then. Alright. How do I write my solution, my factored answer then? Notice she stopped at first. She's like, x plus, whatever sign it has is the sign you need to use. And then number 8, you're going to try some of these on your own in a second. I'm doing the first 4 with you. Negative 15, positive 2. Okay, you're looking for numbers that multiply to give you Negative 15, okay, and add to give you 2. What types of numbers do you have to multiply by to get a negative? Somebody said it, but I didn't hear it right. One negative, one positive. Alright, here's what we need to really think about. If we need one negative and one positive, but we need a positive number, which needs to be negative? The bigger number or the smaller number? The smaller number needs to be a negative, okay? We're going to start with 1. You said the smaller number needs to be negative. So it's like negative 1 plus 15. What's that? It's what? $14. It is positive 14. That doesn't work. Alright, what do we need to try next? 2. Will 2 go into 15? No, we can't do 2. Negative 3 times 5. Negative 3 plus 5 is what? 2. And that's what we're going to use. Then what do I write? Y'all, I've messed this up. I haven't messed the whole thing up. Hang on, here's what I mean. Do you see how that was M and M? We need to change it to M and M. I wish we had some M and M's. And so the other one should be Y and Y. Just use the variable it has. If you do what I did and accidentally used X, I'm not going to count you wrong, as I just did it all myself. I did notice till we got to W. Okay, sorry. So it's W. How do I write these? W. Okay, I'm going to zoom out so you make sure you changed it to Y's on this one. Y and Y. Whoops. Alright, the summary. Here is the last value. We actually call it C. And the middle value. How did we find what our two factors were going to be? Okay. Find two factors that multiply to give you what? Which of these? B or C? C. And add to give you what? B. What we did. I'm putting little quotes around C and B so we actually see they're just variables there. Not variables, but they'll stand in for variables. Alright, we are going to write on your notebook page in just a second. So finish writing that. I want you to take that notebook page and fold it over so that you have a line down the middle. And then draw your line down the middle under the title. On the left, we're going to factor. Tomorrow, on the right, we're going to solve. We're not ready to solve yet. We're only ready to factor. Number 1. X squared minus 5x plus 6. Number 2. X squared plus x minus 12. And number 3, x squared plus 4x plus 3. I want you to write all 3 of those down and start working on whichever one you want to start working on. So if you're multiplying to get 6, adding to get negative 5, what kind of numbers multiply to give you a positive, but add to give you a negative? Are you going to have positives, negatives, or one of each? I heard somebody say one of each. So negative times a positive is a positive. What are some factors of 6? 2 and 3. Okay. 2 times 3 is 6, but is 2 plus 3 5? They're not negative. It's not negative. What is negative 2 plus negative 3? Negative 5. Is that what I needed? That means I needed negative numbers here. So how do you write the factors to that? The factor to that? Not 12. Minus 2 minus 3. Do not write anything over here yet. We're going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to leave you guys to do number 2 as well. But what are you trying to multiply to get on number 2? And what are you trying to add to get 1? What types of numbers are you going to need? 1 negative, 1 positive. So keep going with that one.